Afad everyone, and welcome back to episode 14 of City Skylines Osahra. I am joined with my good friend and fellow dictator of this fine nation, Skibbeth. Skibbeth, how you going, my friend?
Hafara, I'm doing well. It was a funny moment when I heard you saying dictator.
I thought you were laughing at the fact that I forgot that we were playing Osahra.
No.
I was almost going to start saying Springwood or something else. I don't know. I'm a bit rusty. It's been a while since I've recorded commentary, but yeah, I mean, welcome back, everybody. It's really good to be back in Osahra and speaking to Skibbeth and looking over this very fine build that I got up to yesterday on my Sunday. And oh man, I built so much, and showed just a little bit of a teaser in that first bit of cinematics in the very beginning of the episode. And yeah, as you can imagine, I'm building quite a lot of farmland and kind of just expanding that area that I worked on a couple of episodes ago, and kind of just working on this town that I started to. And yeah, I'm super chuffed with how much work I got done. And Skib, I was looking over the work that you did last episode on that roundabout, and man, you are the master at roundabouts and intersections and all things roads.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Well, we missed you, man. We missed you, really. I was like, when I did my episode all alone, I tried to have you there for a second. You see, I mean, with those. When you're saying Hafara Skibit, and well, I missed you, really. It's when we record, and when we record the commentary for Osahra, it's like the normal thing is to have to be both of us there and do it, and you know. And when I did it alone, I was like, oh, come on, I have to talk all alone. I missed $2.
Oh, I know, man, I know. It was hard for me too. You know, when I was listening to your commentary and you had my voice up there, and I was like, what the hell? I didn't remember recording this. And then I realized what you did. I was like, oh, skip.
That was the same thing, man. That was the same thing. I have to admit it, because you said nothing to me when you did the other episode, one before me. I was at the office working. Well, not that much, but I was working, and I saw you uploaded the video, and I said, okay, let's see the beautiness. And for a second, you started because you started with a live moment, and you were posted in front of the of your bridge, you know. And I was like, this is from the last episode. And then you said, for everyone, and to my collaborator, Skip it. And I was like, what the crap? Oh my God. I said, oh my God, $2 uploaded the old video. Oh no. And I was like, what? And then I heard those crickets, and I was like, oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, that's good. Good.
Yeah, you caught me there.
I'm glad I put you through that.
Yeah, you caught me there, man. You caught me.
Oh, that's funny.
And I said I have to pay back. So.
Oh, well, good. That's good. I'm glad you got your revenge. I didn't realize it was revenge. I thought it was just a bit of friendly banter, but you know, I'll accept that. But yeah, everyone, just working on this farmland today, and you know, if there's going to be anything that you were to take away from this build, like I kind of, when I do buildings, like when I do construction in City Skylines, I kind of think about what's the concept, what's the takeaway message from this episode, what's going to be the final taster in people's mouths. So if there's going to be anything you're going to take away from this episode, it's this train line that I'm working on right there, because I go into quite a lot of fine detail of this train line that, you know, cuts through this agriculture sort of area. I'm super happy with how this turned out. I pulled a lot of inspiration from places that I've been to in India and you know, other countries that kind of have these train lines. And another thing I want you to take away is just the amounts that I get done. I really built quite a lot in this episode, and a lot of what I built was, well, actually it's kind of 50-50. I did a lot of high detail in places that probably get a lot of attention from Skib and I when we're doing cinematics, or you know, if we're looking at places. I did a lot of high detail in those areas. And then in some other areas of this map, I worked on just kind of just really low detail farmland. And the reason why I did that is, I mean, if we did high detail in this entire region, in this entire country that we're building, we would actually just never ever complete this city. It just would never finish. And the other reason why we don't do detail everywhere is it just, like, the frame rate would just be out of control bad. And I think we'll hit the prop limit so quickly. So yeah, I really work on some high detail and then some kind of low detail just to kind of pan out a lot of the area. And I'm really happy with how much I got done. There's quite a lot of time, a lot of cinematics at the end. I added heaps in because I wanted to show how much I actually got done. But what I'm actually building right now is I'm just working on the detail around this train line. And, you know, like I said before, pulling a lot of inspiration from some trips I've done in India where there's like a lot of train lines, and these cows that I'm plopping down here, you know, they're kind of just, these cows kind of like scatter around, walk around, kind of like free range around these sort of areas. And, you know, trains would kind of go quite slowly around here and, you know, sit on the horn to push the cows kind of away. And yeah, so I kind of wanted to have that sort of a look in this area. And, you know, a lot of these farmlands that I'm building, that's kind of a bit of a mix of farmlands. I was kind of like thinking about the sort of people who own these farms around here. And, you know, I'm kind of thinking that the people that I might live around this area are maybe not so much commercial farmers, but probably more like family owned, like resident sort of farms. You know, they might probably grow some different sort of vegetables or crops or cattle, and then sell them at local markets or things like that in El Khanem, in the capital of our city, or even in that little town that I built a couple of episodes ago. So that's something that I'm kind of thinking about in this this little area. And I use quite a lot of different techniques to kind of build these farmlands. You know, I use decals and I use some props, and as you can see, they've got some trees. I'm not really sure what that farm is meant to be, but it's just a little something. And of course, always using lots of bearded monkeys buildings, because he is our fellow collaborator, isn't he, Skib?
Yeah, of course. And I saw those cows. I didn't get time to really look closer to them or to use them better, say. And yeah, they really do look pretty awesome. I mean, they are way much better than the old cows that we had on the workshop for a long time, and that's pretty beautiful. And if you know someone, or maybe the guys from Paradox released that thing that now you can use animal skeletons in order to create your own animals. I'm not totally sure if that's a thing or not, because well, the creators know better. But I've seen someone doing some new pigs and some other animals that will be able to walk around in your farmland, which is super cool and interesting, because maybe we will have a little bit of luck and we can make our camels do the same thing. I mean, imagine to have some camels walking around the ways, or even in other places, God knows where, you know? That would be something.
Oh man, how cool would that be, just seeing some camels walking around these streets? I think that would look just so cool.
Exactly.
I don't even know how you'd even, like, you know, I'm not a modder guy. Like, I barely know anything about computers, so besides City Skylines, I have no idea how to make those models or things that move.
I'm far by even thinking of doing such thing. Really, I'm bad at when it comes to these kind of things. I was thinking long time ago when I discovered this game and or a workshop for it. I was thinking, man, I would love to do a house, and I tried to find some tutorials and ideas, and then to try to learn a software. And when I saw those kind of things, I said, oh, this is not for me. This is not for me, because I often lose my patience on these kind of things. And And by the way, about the trains that you're saying, it's pretty damn cool and interesting to see a train passing through the farm fields. It's really cool. And imagine if we had some a train that was full of people. I mean, those people hanging on both sides of the trains, like in India, you said.
Oh man, that'd be so awesome because when I went to India, I kind of expected the train ride to be like that because you see all these photos, but those days are long gone. Apparently, they went out when the trains went from like diesel to electric, so they kind of don't have that sort of system anymore where people ride on top. But yeah, that would be such a cool addition. I don't know, maybe we'll have to ask the guys if they'd be interested in.
Yeah, I mean, no, really.
I think, model.
I mean, it's quite hard to do that, but that would be cool. And at the point, to have a train stop in the middle of the farm fields, and some guys get down and milk the cows, Just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, it would be really cool to have a train like that. Anyway, I think we have quite a lot of train, and I've changed the trains. Because last time when I did a train station and a cargo and all the depots, not cargo, the depots, someone, I think there were 2 or 3 persons mentioning that I've been using some Dutch trains and I should try to find some diesel ones and so on. And yeah, I made a mistake by choosing electrical trains again. By mistake, I didn't notice that little thing on top of the front on the train locomotive. How do you call it?
Yeah, I think that's
the driving car. Okay, I say locomotive in my country, but yeah, I didn't notice it was electrical, and I got rid of all the electrical train tracks, and yeah, that was a little mistake from me. But happens.
The new trains look great. They I think they really fit with the theme, and it's really cool that people like I've said in a lot of other episodes of Osahra, we read like all the messages you guys leave below. So it's really cool that you guys leave so much and are so involved, and there's so many people writing stories for our little nation. It's it's really encouraging to us, and it's really interesting, and it also helps us to be a little bit more realistic because there are definite things that we forget to include, and there's bits and pieces that you guys probably know a lot more about because you guys get to watch us build rather than actually be part of it. So keep them coming, like keep all the ideas and suggestions coming because we read them all and we're always really interested in them.
Sure, of course, that's a perfect, because for example, if I want to build an airport or something, I don't know lots of stuff about airports. I mean, yeah, I know there is a runway, there is a taxiway, some buildings there, and few props and so on, cars, and that pushing the airplanes. But I really don't know too much about that, and I will make a big mess. But see, this is why it's good to see and read some feedbacks on it, because some people really know how these kind of things work. And that's also always a good thing. So, yeah, as I did a little mistake with with those trains, which, by the way, if I'm not wrong, I think Freedom 920 sent the link to me with them to use. He sent me 2 or 3 links with different trains, and I want to mention him because he's the one that started the entire revolution idea. So maybe he's not working always against us, maybe he's that guy, kind of guy who works on both sides. oh yeah,
it's so cool, man. Like, yeah, the stories that he comes up with are just awesome. Like, as soon as we upload an episode, I just go like, oh man, what's he gonna say in this next one?
Yeah.
Like, and he's not alone. Like, there's so many people getting involved. It's just so cool.
Crumbs McGee was also at the point with him, and both of them created the entire story around it. And I was like, what, Crumbs? You betrayed us? And well, we have to. There will be a video, an episode when we have to make something about this revolution. We have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's this series is really. I mean, I remember when we first started this series, you mentioned it we'd already spoken about this series long before we released the first episode, and then I remember like in the first episode you mentioned, oh no, this is like a country, and I was like, what, a country? What the hell are you talking about? And then and then all of a sudden like I'm building a country, not a city, and that was pretty interesting. So yeah, it's really, really fun building this sort of thing with everybody in mind. So keep them coming, fellas. What I'm building right now, like I said before, a primary focus for this episode is this train line that I've got going on, this old school train line. And what I was finding that we were getting a lot of trains just like not moving. It was like a big train traffic jam. And it was driving me crazy. I just, every time I reset the trains, they'd all bank up again. I couldn't figure out why they were doing that. So I realized that they were getting stuck because there was no room for them to overtake each other. And so they're just getting stuck. So I ended up putting this train station there to, give trains the opportunity to actually overtake. And it totally fixed that problem. And it was only just meant to be a temporary thing, but they ended up just detailing it, and it ended up looking pretty cool. It's kind of like multi-layered, multi-leveled, and not exactly built on flat terrain. Speaking of flat terrain, and something that I kind of wanted to speak about is, I find that it's always really cool to build cities on terrain that is not exactly completely flat. And it does kind of add a bit of a challenge working with a terrain that isn't flat, but I think the realism just like increases so much. So if you're ever just building a city, I highly encourage you to work with hills or mountains and just like raise those roads every now and again, because it's always really adds a lot of realism to I know that Sydney, the city that I live in, is just like I feel like they built it on mountains. Well, not mountains, but just like hills. It's just like hills everywhere. And after visiting New York only a couple of days ago, that city is just so walkable. It's just flat. It's just like a totally flat city. And I don't know, which city do you live in again, Skip?
Bucharest, and it's all flat. Almost flat.
It's all flat, is it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think there is. Maybe there is a place where the ground is just like a few meters. I can't call it even a hill, but yeah, no. 99% of the city is flat. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is, and I know what you mean about hills and stuff, because there are few big and beautiful cities in my country, and they have hills, some of them even mountains, and they are just amazing. I mean, for those who are from Romania and listen to this, they know what I say about, for example, Brașov and Cluj, and there are lots of others, little cities or town, maybe not cities, which are beautiful with these. I mean, for example, Brașov, it's one of the I think it's the most beautiful city in Romania from my point of view, but it is the entire center of the town, which is quite big. I mean, not the old town, but center of the town. It is completely surrounded by mountains from all, and there are houses on mountains, on most of them, and it was an old fortress there. And beside the fact that it has a big history behind it, but it is beautiful. I mean, when I first got there, being an adult, not a kid, because when I was a kid, I never looked at it like that. I was like, wow, that this city, it is beautiful. It really is. And it's a clean one, and it's a beautiful one. People are really nice. I mean, I make a comparison with my city where people are not that nice, and I don't know, because here all the people gather because it's the capital, and also because stuff are not working as should in a normal country, and it's a city full of traffic, and people don't have time. I mean, you can go for 4 kilometers and make even 1 hour 4 kilometers. Maybe you should get down from the car and walk, because you get there faster. But people they lose their mind. I mean, at the point you can lose it in the traffic. It's like, I can't take it anymore, and bam, that's it. Anyways,
yeah. I
went
know
too far
exactly
for
that feeling. Yeah, one of these days, Skib, I'm gonna come and visit you.
Man, you
mark my
should, man.
words.
You really
Yeah,
should.
yeah.
And especially now that I'm moving from here, I found a new apartment, and we should move at the end of this month. So, oh my God, I hope I have to. Man, it will not take much. I mean, in 2 days I will be moving with everything. But I can't wait to move there. Really, it's a little and beautiful apartment and very modern. Plus, there will be I will have a little corner somewhere there for me. And the first thing that I have to, and I didn't discuss it with my let's say future how do you call that guy who loans his apartment? Anyway, you know that guy.
Oh, landlord.
Landlord. Okay, yeah. I have to talk with him by now. Because I want to have internet there as soon as I get. I mean, I don't want to wait for.
Right.
I don't want to wait for those guys to come and install it because I have work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, what I'm doing right now is I'm just expanding this town, and you'll see in the cinematics very shortly about what I mean by detailing some areas and leaving some areas not as detailed. You'll see those sort of areas, and I think it works really well. But I'm like in love with this town now. It's one of my favorite builds at the moment. I wanted to make it look really organic. When I mean by organic, I meant like it looks like it's expanded naturally as the population's growing, and there's more farmlands on the sides and way more dense in the center where the main road is, like the highway. So I'm just going to work on a bit of detail on this, and I will show you more of that in the time lapse. But guess what? We are pretty much finished. The cinematics are just around the corner. Want to encourage you guys to go and subscribe to our channels if you haven't already, and liking this video is also very much appreciated. And I will see you guys in Skibber's channel in the next episode, and until next week, catch you guys in the next episode. See you later.
Bye.